This is the True American Podcast. I usually talk about local and state politics, try to talk about it from a conservative perspective. But I wanted to talk today about this whole situation with Kanye West. I think he now refers to himself as Ye, Y-E. Kanye West, as most people know, he's a brilliant artist. Some people almost refer to, characterize him as a genius. Extremely popular, very successful entrepreneur. At one time was a billionaire. And lately he made a comment that some people is characterized as anti-Semitic. And so anyway, he said that. And so therefore a lot of companies have used that as justification to stop their business dealings with Kanye. And as a result, and Kanye's lost a lot of money. I mean, tens of millions of dollars. Now, those companies are probably who've cut ties with him, they're probably going to take a little bit of a hit too, but Kanye's definitely taken a hit. And Dr. Boyce Watkins, he's a guy I follow somewhat closely. I've got several of his books. I have a lot of respect for him. And Dr. Boyce Watkins, I think very accurately said, Kanye West at this present time, he is under economic warfare. Kanye West is under economic warfare. And then Dr. Boyce Watkins, he would go about defining what is economic warfare. And when he made that definition, and then you look at the situation that Kanye's undergoing right now, he's correct. That brother's under economic warfare. It is amazing. Similar things were attempted against Dave Chappelle, and it failed. And I remember there are many examples of when an entrepreneur, a very popular artist, etc., would make a statement, and then people would go after not the statement he or she would make, but that individual himself or herself. They would engage in economic warfare. They are looking to destroy this person financially, economically, business-wise. They want to make it nearly impossible for them to make a living, to provide for themselves and to provide for their family. They don't care what that person has done as far as products or services are concerned. They don't care about the quality or anything like that. They want to destroy that individual from being able to provide for themselves, being able to provide for their family, and being able to keep their business alive and employ people. Kanye West is under economic warfare. Make no doubt about it. What Dr. Boyce Watkins has said, what he's articulated, he's 100% on that. He's 100% on that. And I think that, and I'm speaking right now to black entrepreneurs, you need to look at this very carefully. This is something we need to study, because this isn't the first time it's happened. This has happened to other highly successful black entrepreneurs. When they say something and it's considered whatever, then they face economic warfare. I mean, it's like, I think many times these artists, these entrepreneurs, when they experience this, I think they said, man, it's easier if they would just come at me with a gun or a knife. But they try to destroy you. They try to destroy you, whoever your opponent might be, and whatever justification they're putting up there. So, but this is something I think, again, I'm speaking to black entrepreneurs and really black scholars as well. At least black scholars who are not engaged, who are not steeped in left-wing white cultural indoctrination. We need to start studying this stuff. There are plenty of cases out there. Again, I say Dave Chappelle, of course, Kanye West, but there are others. I'll never forget Jimmy the Greek. Jimmy the Greek, as you know, is a white dude. He made some comment. He was a football commentator. Made some comment about a black athlete. He was not at all. Jimmy the Greek was not at all trying to be, racist or hateful or anything. Actually, he's trying to compliment the athlete. And he did it in a stumbling way. I sort of chuckled when I heard it. But my God, next thing I know, they're trying to destroy Jimmy the Greek. I couldn't believe it. I said, my God, I was there. I heard the statement. It didn't warrant that. They engaged in economic warfare against that white boy. It was horrible what they did to him. And, then it's like Jimmy the Greek, he was not only just trying to provide for himself and his family, but he had a handicapped son. So he had some serious, medical issues. He needed that income to provide for his son. And they went after that man over a comment. And this is the one time where I'm going to give some praise to Jesse Jackson. I've met him a few times. Well, really just once. My ex-wife and I met him, and my ex-wife, father-in-law, who's now passed, was, he was, I don't want to say close to my father-in-law, but he knew my father-in-law. He's met him several times. And I think there was a definite mutual respect there. But I say all that to say this. Jesse Jackson stood up for Jimmy the Greek. He said, look, this guy's no racist. He doesn't need to lose his job. He did say something that, I didn't agree with. And I just didn't think it was appropriate. But, for what some people want to do to him, it's wrong. And I still think Jimmy the Greek suffered from that. And he suffered too much. So this doesn't just happen to highly successful black entrepreneurs. It can happen to some white folk too. But I'm calling upon black scholars, successful black entrepreneurs. We need to start doing some case studies on this. We need to study this because I don't know, man. It's too much. It's happened too much, and it's not going to end with Kanye. It didn't end with Dave Chappelle, and I think there's some others that are going to go after. And so we really need to, you remember Shabba Ranks? You remember Shabba Ranks? Well, they went after him. I think Shabba Ranks, he made a comment in response to what someone else had said about homosexuality and it's an unbiblical lifestyle. And Shabba Ranks said something basically in support of that. But they accused Shabba Ranks of, he hates homosexuals. He wants people to commit violence against homosexuals. And there are two things I immediately said. I said, what did this boy say? I want to read for myself what he said. I want to read it in context as to what he said. You got to be careful when people start saying, well, we want to start engaging in economic warfare against folks. You need to go to the original source. Well, what did they say? I want to read it for myself. I want to hear it for myself. What did they do? I want to hear the objective facts for myself before I make a judgment. And then two, you need to start asking yourself, my Lord, man, does this comment really warrant that kind of response? Really? I mean, come on, folks. You ever heard of Rob Reiner? He's some white liberal out there in Hollywood. Do you realize that years ago he was in a movie where he used the N-word, not once, not twice, but several times? How sometimes they talk about, these white cultural Marxists talk about cultural appropriation. Anthony Hopkins once played Othello. Othello is a black figure. He's a Moor. So Anthony Hopkins had to go in blackface. And so these white cultural Marxists, they consider that, that's evil. So look at how those two white boys, they can get away with it. They can use the N-word in a movie. They can go blackface. But for whatever reason, they're not destroyed. People don't engage in economic warfare against them. They don't do it. There was some white boy, Al Franken, first he was a comedian, now turned politician. And he actually celebrated, just borderline celebrated, Rand Paul being physically assaulted. He celebrated. He thought that was great. I read those statements. I was like, Franken, are you out of your mind? He's celebrating some violence being inflicted upon Senator Rand Paul. oh, wait a minute, what happened to that white dude? They didn't engage in economic warfare against him. And let me tell you something else too. You ever listen to gangster rap, or what was? I'm old school, so it was, gangster rap. You ever listen to some of those lyrics? What they said about black women, what they called black women, what they wanted to do to other black men who weren't down with them or weren't wearing the same color rag and all this other kind of nonsense. Man, there's no economic warfare against them. Now, there were some people like Al Sharpton and Dolores Tucker who said, hey, these lyrics are bad. We need to, they need to cut back on that. We don't, and all this other kind of stuff. They were very much opposed to it, but they were not engaging in economic warfare against those young black men, against them hip hop artists, against them gangster rappers. They did not do that. They might have gotten upset. Some of those hip hop guys might have thought that it was economic warfare. Bro, you don't know what economic warfare is until you really examine what's happening with Kanye West right now and what was attempted to be done to Dave Chappelle. Folks, we need to study this. I know we got a lot of so-called black scholars who got their head so far up the butts of the Democratic Party they don't know if it's day or morning until that white cultural Marxist tells them. So we need some independent black thinkers who are going to do some documentation on, man, what is this? What is this? Let's examine what this economic warfare that was attempted against Dave Chappelle. And let's examine this economic warfare that was that is going on right now against Dave Chappelle and others. And many others. I think it's important that we do that. Later on, I'm going to give my opinion more specifically about Kanye West and his anti-Semitic, or what some people have characterized as his anti-Semitic remarks. Okay, folks, stay tuned. Please like, subscribe, share. Appreciate it. I need more subscribers, please.